Welcome to English for Oral Presentation. So, in this video, we are going to discuss about informative speech. It is important for you to know what is an informative speech because there is another speech which is called persuasive speech. So, there is a difference between these two. So, for informative speech is actually a speech that you deliver to provide description or to give more information about the things that you are talking about, yet you are not trying to persuade your audience. Take an example. You go to a political speech and coming and going to a class. Political speech is usually a persuasive speech because in their delivery they try to persuade you to agree with them. But a class lecture, usually is an informative speech because the lecture is usually delivered to provide you with information but not to persuade you to agree with anything. Okay, so now let me just write it down to you. What is an informative speech? I am really sorry because I don't have the prettiest handwriting in the world. So, delivered to provide information but not to persuade. Example would be political speech versus class lecture. So this one would be persuasive, and this one would be just informative. Okay, so there are 4 types of informative speech. Okay, so these 4 types are, the first one is descriptive, where in this speech you only describe about something. For example, you are talking about your someone that you like or your idol or a place, so you just describe about that thing or the place. And then the second type of informative speech is a demonstrative speech. So in a demonstrative speech you are actually giving instruction or explain how something works. For example, you are watching a cooking show. So in a cooking show you will see a lot of demonstration, or you are watching a DIY channel on YouTube. So in this channel they will show you how to make something, so they will demonstrate to you how to do it. And the third type of informative speech is explanatory speech. Okay, so explanatory speech is actually a speech where you usually explain about something. You explain how or why um, of the topic. Let me just put it here: how or why. So here you may be talking about cause and effect, or you may be talking about impacts impacts of something, or the cause. Well, we have the cause just now. Okay, and the last one is a definition speech. So a definition speech is actually a speech where you deliver or you describe a theory or a concept of something. For example, you want to talk about stress management, so you define stress management, you define the concept, what is stress management, and maybe you want to talk about the theory that is related to stress management, and then you just talk about what usually is stress management. So you are going to deal with theory or concept or concept. Okay, so let's move on. When you are delivering your informative speech, there are, well, organizational patterns of this uh, that you can follow. So here we're going to discuss 5 organizational patterns of informative speeches. Let me just write it down for you. 5 organizational pattern of informative speeches. Okay, the first one is chronological. So when you deliver your speech in a chronological order, you are actually describe steps in detail. So usually when you use chronological, you will you are actually usually you do, I mean, you use chronological pattern when you do demonstrative informative speech, because it has to go in chronology. It involves steps. uh, all right, so you have chronological, and then the second one is cause and effect. Okay, so cause and effect is a pattern that you use to describe cause of the problem or the effects of the problem. So this applies to uh, explanatory type of informative speech. And then you have your problem solution. Okay, so problem solution requires you to focus on the problem and the solution. So here you have to show connection between the problem and the solution of the problem. Um, so this could also be applicable in explanatory type of informative speech. And the third one is spatial. So spatial is related to space. So this pattern is used when describing a topic by focusing on the arrangement of space and emphasizing uh, on space. Well, you are actually doing it by um, focusing on how things are related. For example, um, you want to describe a house, right? So you are describing a house. So maybe you want to talk about your living room first, then you move on to your kitchen or bedroom. But well, this organizational patterns is well is the least common pattern used in informative speech because usually people will use it well this type of pattern is only used when you are describing about space. Maybe uh, it is used by what we call it um, housing agents to describe about the house that maybe that you want to buy, or um, real estate agent talking about um, the land that they are going to sell you. Well, yeah. And then the last one is topical. Okay. Topical is a pattern that allows you to organize your speech into categories and type. So here you can organize your well, you can focus your speech into certain aspects of the topic. Um, for example, um, you talk about you want to talk about online learning, and then you can break the topic down into subtopics. Maybe you want to do at the first part you want to talk about the advantages of online learning, and then the second part you want to talk about the disadvantages of online learning, and then well, move back to the first part. In advantages, it could be advantage to consumer and advantage to service provider. Disadvantage could be disadvantage of space, what we call it, in terms of money or cost, as well as the disadvantage of human interaction. So you can like organize your speech into subtopics. Okay. So, as the same with writing, for speech, you also have your body of speech. Well, of course, when you want to deliver something, you have to. Well, when you want to deliver a speech, you have to have your outline, right? So, in this outline, you will see what is needed in a speech. So, from this, you can well organize your body or your anatomy of your speech. Usually, the same as similar to writing, you have your. I'm just write down for you first. You have your intro, and then you have the body, and then you have your conclusion. So, in intro, you want to introduce your audience to the topic, and you also want to get to have your hook or your attention grabber. Well, this is important because there is a study. Well, I'm not. Well, I'm really sure that I read it somewhere. Uh, it says that people only listen to well the most 30% um, of your presentation, and um, it is important for you to make a good impression when you start your speech, because without a good start, you cannot, well, the momentum of the speech will not be there, so people will likely be easily to move I mean, not to move, to lose their focus on you. So be really be very very critical about this, your hook attention or attention grabber. And then the body could be separated into paragraph. Yes, when you deliver your speech, is actually like delivering your essay, but in oral form. So you have your points, and you have your supporting details. Okay, points, supports, and then for supports, maybe you want to put what we call it, some graph or chart, because, well, seeing is believing, right? Maybe you want to put some pictures. Depends on it. It depends, but usually graphs and charts are what we call it, more effective, because you can actually locate the source. Well, pictures can also be good, but uh, graph and charts provide you with more information. So it will make your essay it will make your essay more, well, it will make it strong. I mean, uh, it will make it sound. I mean, when people listen to you, they will believe you. I mean, you have more credibility if you have this kind of supports in your speech. And then the conclusion. Well, you conclude the speech. Since you are not doing persuasive speech, you can just like summarize what you have to talk about. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's all for informative speech. I hope you can find something informative for your upcoming speech. Thank you.